there over and above the invitation is because I met Rory, after Rory was recently voted into the Commons. One of his first things was to engage on how to drive change in Cumbria. And it's very easy to do things when you have support and you have people who want to accomplish something. And I see that both at the county level and I see it at national level. We will represent. You know, last year was a fantastic year. Clear directions have been set by the government. Very simple. We're investing in the best broadband infrastructure in Europe by 2015. And I actually think £830 million, especially in this environment, is an awful lot of money. And the good news is that the private sector will match that. So you're probably looking at £2 billion of spend that could go into investing in super fast broadband across the country in those areas where the private sector is not going to invest today or finds it difficult. So it's probably closer to $2 billion we have to play with. Now that's in addition to, there are counties looking at regional growth funds, there are 2 European broadband funds that we're looking to tap into. So there is money about if you have the ambition and you have a plan, you know exactly where you want to get to. And great news, last year, because of the will of Cumbrian people, political leadership, people in one of the pilot areas. And I think even better news is that the pilot was wonderful to win, but I think immediately a recognition came that we need to deliver a county-wide plan, not just the pilot area. Eden Valley might be first, but Cumbria is going to get delivered. I'll talk a little bit about where we're at and why, you know, so much has changed in a year. If we were sitting in this audience a year ago, we as a company, you as users, we would just be doing trials. We wouldn't have announced anything with Cumbria, as a matter of fact. 12 months later, we also, by the way, at that time had an announcement we would spend £1.5 billion on investing in super fast broadband, which at the time was fiber to the cabinet, which is now fiber to the premise as well, fiber to the home. We've upped that investment to $2.5 billion. It's the single biggest private sector investment by any company in the world. You can look at the United States, New Zealand, Australia, Europe, you can find any private sector company investing that amount of money. Why? The business case is very challenging. The business case as it sits today is a 13 to 15-year payback. It's a very ambitious program for us. Why demand, as we already talked about, is critical. Getting people not just to deploy the technology, but to take it up is absolutely critical. So 12 months later, we have close to 3.5 million premises passed. We're doing about 150,000 premises a week. So our program has a great deal of momentum and ambition, as Rory said. We have announced Penrith in December. We announced with Jeremy Hunt's announcement in early December that we were going to market towns. Penrith has become one of them. In addition to that, we've announced the 1 gigabit trial, fiber to the premise, fiber to the home, and we're going to be trialing that in Kesgrave and Suffolk. So you're going to see a program that not just deploys, but continues to innovate. A program that has an ambition, and as that technology changes, and as we learn each week, as we are learning each week, because of the speed of rollout, technology changes and advances, you can get more confident about what you can deliver. You're going to see more and more changes to the program, and going faster, as well as in trialing more innovation. It is not going to stand still at 40 megabits or 100 megabits. That's where it starts. It's not going to stand still. I came up here in September. This was really at Rory's urging. What could you do in Cumbria? Nobody thought it was possible that we could do much in Cumbria. We actually came up with a plan, which I think was part of the submission that the Cumbria County Council put into the UK, where we could get to 85,000 premises, both consumers, citizens, and businesses. We would deploy both fiber to the cabinet, which is 40 meg service, 10 meg with upload, and fiber to the prem, about 20% of them, which is 100 meg at this point, will go faster, and 30 meg with upload. It was a gap-funded model because BT was willing to invest, and we were looking for top-up money from BT UK in order to do that. And it wasn't hundreds of millions of pounds, but nonetheless, we did need help to do it. In addition to that, again, a lot of it down to Rory's urging, but the need is not just economic, but it is national, is what else could we do? Could we do it differently if communities wanted to engage? If we left off the tubing and the fiber, would you be willing to dig up, your garden, right, or your field in order to put those tubing in place or to pull fiber? And we would drag to a point of presence in the village. Those are all things we're working on right now. And that's why, as Rory said, we're going to need to engage both at county level, but also community level. At the end of the day, we want to deliver as much fiber to the cabinet premise as we can. Right? Because that's what citizens and businesses need and both want. So, as I said, we are exploring both county levels, both here and around the country, and in communities about what we can do, what we can do differently, and what options are available. Because remember, whatever we do has to work, has to bring choice, in other words, it's open, and there are 26 different companies selling fiber today in the UK, 26. That brings you choice. Why we have the lowest prices in Europe for communication services is because of that choice, because of competition. Why we have 70% of premises connected to broadband today and 20,000 being added a week, first and second generation, is because of that choice and low prices. And that's very, very important to a sustainable solution because whatever we do has to work today, tomorrow, for the next 10 years. And that's something everyone has to consider with whatever you do. You want choice and sustainability. Great progress accomplished. I'm very proud of where you sit today. It's being viewed as a national test bed. You have the Eden Valley with high exposure to big society. The county recognizes that it needs for not just to deal with part of a pilot area, but how do we come up with a plan? We don't want to leave anybody behind. So how do we do that? How do you work with the private sector to do that? What resources can the community, what can the county come up with? What can the national government come up with? What can Europe come up with? So it is complex, but it's doable. There is definitely a groundswell of community interest. I stopped along the motorway up here yesterday and met somebody from the Eden Valley and an excellent chat. Right? And it's really, really important that to engage reasonable people trying to do the unreasonable and accomplish a lot. And that's what we aim to do. Your leaders appreciate, they understand both demand, innovation, and what choice we do. That's a very good place to be. Again, some of the stats. We were hoping to get 4 million done by December, but the cold weather and the snow slowed us down a wee bit. And also power. We're having a big problem with the electricity companies about dragging power to the cabinets. And it's something we are working very, very hard on. We have 5 trial areas for FTTP. So where we were with fiber to the cabinet 2 years ago, we are with fiber to the premise, and it will start to be rolled out later this year. So we'll start becoming part of solutions that we deploy. As I said, 26 different people, different companies are selling it. The market price today for 40 meg broadband is $17.99. I think it's a voice thrown in too. That price will probably start to fall now. All right. If you think about the first generation of broadband, the price of that is about £6. One of the reasons we're great users of the internet is because of that choice and low prices. People on the internet, we want to get online. The UK uses the internet versus the rest of the world. We're either #1 or #2 position. Great news. It's fantastic. You've probably seen slides like this. I don't want to bore you with this, but there's no question that broadband, super fast broadband, the connected home. If you look at what's come out of Las Vegas this week at the Consumer Electronics Show, the connected home is becoming a reality. The connected home driven by connected to the internet is the reality, right? My big point of this slide, from a citizen's point of view or a consumer point of view, is this is going to begin the transformation, I believe, this year in public services being delivered oriented. The county's already looking at, national government's already looking at, if we put this infrastructure in, what more can we do to serve citizens better? How can we do it more cost effectively? How can we be available when they want us to be, not just 9 to 5? So the ability to deliver public services, whether it be healthcare, filling out forms for DEFRA, doesn't matter. This infrastructure is going to allow for a different engagement with government than we've ever had before. I'm much more comfortable talking about business because I ran the small and medium business sector for 5 years, until December of 2009. 5,000 businesses a week now start up at home. The reason they start up is they have connectivity. That connectivity allows them access to services that they no longer have to own. They can rent, they can buy on a monthly basis or pay as you go. The ability to start up a business today at very low cost without a physical presence or without even owning physical software is a profound shift in technology. Profound. Matter of fact, if you talk to venture capitalists out in Silicon Valley, where the big concerns is startups don't need money as much now in the early days because it's so cheap to start up a business. You can go to Amazon Web Services and get as much storage you want for pence. That didn't happen 5 years ago. Huge change. So software as a service, cloud-based services, the ability to collaborate, the ability to open new markets, the ability to link your communications, whether they be fixed communications, mobile communications, with your software on your desktop or in the cloud, that's all available now to small businesses. And it's one of the reasons I think we're starting, over and above the recession, starting to see such an explosion of small business growth. 60% of this economy is about small businesses. What's going to lead us out of this recession is going to be small businesses. It's not going to be big businesses. One of the biggest challenges, I think, to government is how do we get 100 businesses to add one person as opposed to hoping for a big business to hit 100? And that's a big shift, a different way of working, especially more community-based way of working as well. So this is going to be the biggest impact, and I'll show you some stats that I dug out on this. Now, it's from 2009, Amicus Management Consulting, 2007, Brookings Institute in the United States. I think they're good guides, right? I was very much involved in Cornwall back in 2002, 2003, 2002, 2005, and I watched what they did with first generation broadband, focus on the business community, right? And as you can see, and if you remember, there was a bit of an economic slowdown. 2000, 2001, we had a dot-com boom and bust, right? Unemployment maintained, a huge uplift, right? But economic activity, productivity growth, transformation. I think those same things are available now to us with single fast broadband. I'll show you some examples. 1% increase in broadband penetration. By the way, our broadband penetration here in this country is higher than the United States. 1% increase in broadband penetration. Employment is projected to increase by 0.02. This is a safe bet, this investment. This is going to help economic regeneration. They've also said for every 1 million invested in fiber creates 10 to 20 jobs. You know, Jeremy Hunt said when he made his big announcement in December, you know, this is about jobs, jobs, and jobs. There's no question this is going to create economic, it's going to support economic activity. Nick Turner, who writes for the Cumberland paper, actually covered some of these stories when he went over to Northern Ireland. I ran Northern Ireland for 3 years, so it's a bit of a home game for me. But this is a great story. These are three young men who were 20 at the time. They were in school, didn't think they were going to get a job. Nobody was hiring. Said, so, you know, a broadband connection. Thought they could just, you know, find some business in Northern Ireland. And to their amazement, their good fortune, what they put on the web attracted other business around Great Britain. They set up a business. They were able to open up to new markets, and it also allowed them to be more productive. So new markets and productivity, this is what it helps to do with business. This is one business. So the startup, new markets, expanding markets, not just Northern Ireland, but Great Britain is their backyard, and productivity. They don't have to go pick up the files and, you know, drive and pick them up or wait 15 minutes for a download. This is another good one. Again, you know, family business, using the internet, they're saving money. It's not just being more productive, they're saving money. Again, new markets, electronic catalogs, speed of response to customers, all good stuff. If you've got a good broadband connection today, you know what some of this stuff's like. You get a better broadband connection, these things will only accelerate. This is my favorite. This is not because I'm 83, probably the best. O2's first customer, mobile customer, and so this is somebody who's leading from a technology point of view. O2's first customer in Ireland years ago. Got super fast broadband, banks, books his holidays, does car tax online, shops online, and he's taught his grandson how to use a PC and how to use the internet. Now the only problem with that is that he found his grandson buying stuff from Amazon and he was away from his PC. But the great thing is he's using it to communicate, using Skype, staying in touch, being part, being very active, engaging, and passing on to the next generation. I think it's better than that. This is an interesting example. This is a kiosk company that does for local district councils in Ireland, and kiosks around Northern Ireland. Where they plugged in super fast broadband, they're getting more usage and more people involved. So they're now shifted their rollout to match our rollout in Northern Ireland, because we've done a deal with Northern Ireland so that by May 11, 85% of businesses will have super fast broadband. We've also done a deal with Cornwall. Cornwall's very rural. We put £80 million in, they found £50 million of European money. They will have 90% fiber-based services. 90% of premises will have 90 fiber-based services in Cornwall in 2.5 years' time. 50% will be fiber to the cabinet, 50% will be fiber to the home. It's a £130 million commitment. If they didn't give us that money, it would have been 25-year payback. Giving us the money put us into 12, 13, 14-year range. So Northern Ireland and Cornwall are moving. They're out there. And as I said, Cornwall will be done in 2.5 years. Northern Ireland will be done in May 11. So just to recap, it's fantastic you become recognized as an digital test bed. I'm planning to spend a lot more time up here now that I know my way. Please support get behind Rory, get behind your county. County's got to deliver a plan. County has the ability to procure, county has the ability to fund. All right, with your help. It's not to say they'll do it exclusively, as Rory said. Everyone's got a part to play. Right? Unreasonable people acting reasonably to accomplish something. All right? Get a tender out there. Lancashire started. They have a tender. Rutland has started. Wales has started. All right? So please get a tender process going. Challenge the market and tell you what the answer is. Let us or whoever wants your business compete to create the best economic value and solutions, right, for the county. And work in partnership with whoever you choose to innovate and to drive maximum benefit. Now, anybody who wants to get in touch with me, it's bill.murphy@bt.com. Peter Connor's in the front row. He's our representative regional director for the Northwest. He'll be here for the whole day. I have to leave early afternoon. But thank you very much for your time.